everybody and welcome to today's video. My name is Katja and this is Core & Co. So today's video is going to be a seated exercise on the ball. We're just going to be lifting the legs ever so slightly, so we're going to call it seated leg raises. So I put my mat sideways on so you can best appreciate what it is that I'm doing today. If I face you, I don't think you'll get the idea, so I've set it up right here, right in front of the mirror, so you can see it hopefully repeated, so you can see it from both angles, and then I'll turn around so you can see it the other way as well. So the first thing we're going to do before we get into the exercise is we're going to start with some stretching. It's really important to just stretch the muscles out and get ready to do a little workout. So make sure that you have your mat set up, that you have your ball, that your ball is really nicely inflated and that you're ready to go, that you're barefoot so you get good deep contact between the toes and the mat. So we're going to sit right in the middle of our ball. So if you visualise where your hips are, where your hip muscles are, where the hip bones are, and we're driving down through the ball with the hips in a nice straight line. Your feet are facing forwards, not ever so slightly out to the side, but facing forward. Not ever so slightly inwards, but facing forward. So the side of the foot is parallel to the edge of the mat. So we're facing forward, feet are facing forward. So this is a really good exercise. If you actually lift up all your toes, so you're just on the heels, and we're going to just slowly, gently, just rock forward. Just so we're onto the toes, and then we can raise the heels up. We're going to slowly push back, raise the toes. We're just going to pick up the pace a little bit. So we roll forward onto the toes, and then back onto the heels, forward onto the toes, and then sitting all the way back onto the heels. We can think about using the hips now, using the left and the right, and we're going to jiggle from side to side, pushing the weight into each hip as we land. Hip, 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 hip. Push, left, right, but keeping it super controlled, keeping the core locked in nice and tight, just bouncing a straight line, keeping the feet facing forward. Feet are now slightly wider, and stop. Just sucking in all of those core muscles, keeping the legs bent here just slightly greater than a 90-degree angle. Feet facing forward, tummy locked in nice and tight, shoulders back. And then from here, we're just going to roll from side to side, just super gentle, getting the arms involved. Looks like we're doing some power walking, but on the ball. So just loosening up that hip area, just popping the hip out from left to right. Pop, 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 and stop. Keeping the ball nice and controlled, making sure the weight is between the heels and the toes. Just onto the toes, back onto the heels. Bending the knees up onto the toes, straightening the legs out, pushing back into the heels. And from here, sorry, I feel like the ball is just a little bit too far away from my legs here. There's just a bit too much room, so I'm just going to roll it forward ever so slightly. And then from here, we're just going to do some rolls with the hips, rolling all the way around. Almost as if you've got a pole here in the middle. We're just going to circle around the pole. Just circling from the left to the right, clockwise, and then anti-clockwise. Just circling around that kind of individual, invisible pole down the middle. We're just circling around. And then circling back the other way. Just going to take that ball, just lift my bum and just take that ball back a little bit more. So I've just increased this distance here. Just going to roll forward again onto the toes, back onto the heels. Keeping the toes raised, spreading the toes out as far as they'll go. So when we pop the toes down, I'm going to pop the baby toes down first, little toes down first, then the big toes, keeping the 3 toes in the middle raised, and then putting the middle toes down. just so we are aware of every one of our toes and we're using them to make good contact with the mat. It's another way to control what's working for us. So then just rolling forward with the hips onto the toes and back onto the heels. Pushing forward onto the toes, just doing a tiny little bounce here onto the toes. Think about this nice angle just here. Keeping the tummy pushed in, squeezed in nice and tight. Shoulders back and stop. Just drawing in all the core muscles and pushing back onto the heels. And then bringing the feet in so they're slightly closer to the body. And we're going to do that bounce again, feet facing forward. So you're just releasing contact between your bum and the ball. Oh, sorry. Sometimes it can slip out from under you, so just be really careful. I like to do this in a mirror so I can see exactly where that ball is. So I'm not looking down, I'm facing forward, shoulders back, facing forward, chin nice and proud. Keeping the weight in the heels of the feet so you can actually lift the toes up at this point. Just keeping that nice control bounce going. So it's almost like we're doing a nice deep squat. A nice deep squat, but with the comfort of the ball there to catch us so we don't fall. We're not going to lift too far away from the ball. The ball's not going to go anywhere. Keeping that bounce continuously going. And 3, 2, 1, and stop. Crunching the muscles in nice and tight. Just rolling the shoulders back now. Rolling the shoulders back. And then forwards. Really loosening up those muscles. Back again. And actually just taking one hand in front of the other like this. Just pushing away. In a nice straight line here. Letting the head dip. So you get a nice angle just here. Just dipping the head. Turning the hands inside out and pushing up. Taking palms forward, just widening the legs ever so slightly, just so they're on the edges of the mat. Just taking the palms down so they're inside the feet. Just rolling forward ever so slightly and back. Just rolling forward and back ever so gently. Coming up to seating. And if this is your first time on the ball, I don't want to do anything too much too soon. I don't want you to worry that you're going to fall. So for now, we're just going to focus on this one exercise. So I feel like we're warmed up enough. We've just loosened up our hips a little bit. We've done some rotations, done some side to side stuff. We've travelled forwards and back. We've just loosened up these joints here in the hips and the knees. So we're going to sit in the middle of the ball. Think about the hips driving down through the ball into the mat. So you're in a nice straight line. Spine is in a lovely neutral position. Tummy's pulled in nice and tight. Shoulders are back. Feet are facing forward. Picture your feet being on like a railway line. So we've got this lovely straight line down through here, into the knees, into the hips, up to the shoulders. So a nice straight line. It's really important for body alignment and for the balance between the left and the right. So from here, really spreading those toes out nice and wide, keeping the core pulled in super tight, keeping the control from the core to stop the ball from moving around so much, keeping movement in the hips. So if you need to move, use the movement of the hips. So very gently, we're just going to lift one foot off the mat. You can already start to feel a little bit of play in the ball. So just think about what I said about keeping the ball still just with the hips. And then when you're ready, we're going to take that foot that's off the mat. We're going to extend the knee out so it's in a nice straight line. So these knees should be in line with one another. This foot stretched. And the foot's facing you. It's not floppy like this. It's straight like that. Flex, pointed back. And then from here, we're just going to release from the knee down. So we're not touching the mat as we go down. We're just releasing the knee and then straightening the leg out. So that's one rep. I'm going to do 10 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Hold it out just here. I'm just going to do a tiny little pulse while we're here. Just going to pulse here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Put the foot back down. Just loosen the hips up a little bit. Do the forward and backs. Just loosen up those muscles. And then when you're ready, we're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So I'll turn around. So the leg that I'm going to raise will be the one that's closest to you. So you can see. You're not like, oh, where is it? I can't see it. It's behind there. It'll always be this one. So get yourself ready. Make sure you're in a nice straight line. Keeping the weight back. Keeping the weight back here. So we're pushing down, but the weight of the bum is almost driven slightly backwards. I don't know what you want to do with your hands here. I advise that you just do whatever feels comfortable. Don't touch the ball with your hands. Use the contact with the hips and the feet. But just, I like to put them here, I like to put them here. The greater the surface area, the more balance you're going to have. So if you want to take your hands super wide like this, then you get literally, you're covering more surface area surrounding the surface of the ball. So this should give you more grounding, more of a grounding effect. So I'm going to keep my hands out here just to give you a demonstration. So when you're ready, drawing the tummy in, keeping the shoulders back, facing forward. Don't look down at the feet, look forward. So we're just going to raise that foot up. And then when you're ready, we're just going to extend out from the knee, keeping the foot flexed. And we're going to do 10 of these here. So that's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and keep the foot raised, keep the foot extended. I'm just going to do some little pulses here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and return. So it's just a really nice, simple, gentle, controlled balance exercise. You think, oh, maybe that's really easy, there's not a lot of movement going on, but trust me, it's really hard just to find that balance. And everyone will be slightly different between their left and their right side, so it's super important that we do this as one. We do everything in harmony and we create the uniformity between the left and the right. So I'm going to go back to the first side that I worked on, and instead of lifting the foot and extending it out, I'm gonna, and then returning it like with the bend in the knee, I'm gonna get the legs straight, and then we're gonna do a full range like this, a full range move. So the bigger the ball, the further away from the ground I would be, so the range of movement would be increased. So that would be a good example of why a bigger ball would be better for something like this. Just finding the balance in the hips. So keeping that foot flexed, keeping the leg extended. I'm exhaling as I get to the top. And relax. And taking the other leg. So taking the opposite leg now, just going to take the foot off the mat, keeping the balance in the hips, keeping the control in the hips, control from the core, using the hip, the movement in the hip, keeping the foot grounded onto the mat, so you get a nice area of control underneath the foot that's planted on the mat. So we're going to extend this leg out, flex the foot back, and then from here, I'm just going to do these lovely reps, nice straight lines. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And go back to the first side. So you don't have to do all this moving around. I just want you to see my legs and my feet and my posture the best you can. And I think that if I'm facing this way, then it makes it a bit more difficult for you to appreciate what these legs are kind of doing if they're pointing at you this way, I think. But please tell me, please leave me feedback in the comments below. Tell me if you can see it, if you can hear me okay. So I like to try and do a good solid 10. Try and do 10 of everything. If that's too easy, maybe increase your reps to 15 or 20. So from here, we're going to go back into that first foot raised. And then from here, we're just going to lift. Go back into those lifts. It's 5 there. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and just hold it out there. Hold it. Hold it there. Keep control. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just place the foot down nice and gently. We're going to switch onto the other foot, onto the other side. So when you're ready, keeping the tummy pulled in nice and tight, shoulders back, head up, facing forward, feet on a nice straight parallel path like a train line. And lift that foot up, take it out, nice bend from the knee, just from the knee down. And push, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and keep that foot raised. We're just going to hold it here, hold it out, keeping these legs in line with each other. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay? I'm going to return back to this side. I'm going to repeat the straight leg lift. So going back to this first leg again, keeping the toes nice and spread, keeping that contact area with the mat as large as possible, keeping the tummy pulled in nice and tight. We're going to lift that first leg again, foot off the ground, knee extended, foot facing forwards, and then we're just going to do these little pulses here. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. And the same on the other side, lifting the foot, extending the leg, keeping these legs in line. Just going to push here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. So they're just really simple things, just getting the courage and the confidence to just lift the foot in the first place, and then from there to extend it and have control over that, and to do 10 of those is a real accomplishment. To be able to do that on both sides is great. And bear in mind that if you lose your balance and you slip and you've kind of gone 10, 9, 8, slip, don't go back to 10 and start again. Just pick up where you left off, otherwise you're going to have potentially a huge imbalance from one side to the other if you just start again on one side. So just keeping everything the same quantity of repetitions. So we'll just go back to a little bounce. I'm going to move the ball just slightly further away. Feet are facing forward. Think about on the train line. So if the feet are not facing forward, I'm just going to stop bouncing for a sec. If your feet are not facing forward and they're facing just slightly out like this, when you bounce, your knees are going to go out with it. And that's not great for your posture, it's not great for your body alignment. So if we just make sure those feet are on a super straight path, knees facing forward over the shoulders like this, over the hips, lovely straight parallel lines. And then we get a lovely straight deep push. So we're going to sink the bum, sink the hips into the ball, push down through the ball, into the mat, keeping the weight in the heels of the feet, keeping the weight back, shoulders back, tummy pulled in nice and tight. We're just going to do some controlled bounces here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. Really sucking in all those tummy muscles just to control the ball and make it stop. So that's something you can go and you can practice at home. Do a nice controlled bounce. Don't let the ball get away from you. Don't go too fast. Deep and heavy and slow bounces. 4, 3, 2, 1 and stop. That's great. So we're going to roll the ball away and just finish with a few stretches. So just sitting down on the mat now, we're going to lay back, bringing the knees into the chest. Just taking the arms around the outside of the legs. So we're just going to roll just slightly from side to side, just rolling over the liver and the kidneys, really detoxing. And I can already start to feel my heart rate just slightly increase. That's a good way to do some anaerobic exercise, more aerobic stuff. It doesn't have to be super gentle all the time. We can create some energy out of the ball as well, but you need to make sure that you're in full control so the ball does not slip away from you. Just thinking of all the muscles that we've worked under here, like deep seated squat muscles, so just all under here. So we're going to take one leg straight down, keeping the foot flexed back towards us. We're going to take these 2 fingers around the inside of the big toe, keeping this hand here on top of the thigh, keeping both legs as straight as possible, just really pushing out the backs of the knees. Don't actually push on the knee or any joint. Always push above the joint or below the joint. But the idea is that the sensation we're giving here is to push back behind the knee to really straighten out that joint and straighten out all these muscles behind here. Just taking some nice deep breaths, thinking about all the things that you maybe have learned today that you didn't know, those really subtle variations, how we can work different muscle groups on a really basic level, just using the ball and our core stability. And then when you're ready, we're just going to release this foot down, bringing the next one up. Just grabbing the inside of the big toe, pushing back the outside of those knees, putting that spare hand on top of the thigh, flexing the foot back towards us down here. Just taking a few moments now to think about the things that we've done. And if you want, you can loop this video onto one of my previous videos and put it onto one of the next videos, and you can create your own program from here, incorporating some of the movements that we've done. This is a great one and available to everyone of every level throughout their experience and their fitness level. I feel like this is a great foundation just to work on a little balance, if nothing else. Just going to roll the feet over to the side ever so slightly just to come up to seating. Just scooting back a little bit, extending the legs out as far as they'll go. I'm using a towel here because I'm a little bit kind of sweaty. If you have a towel and you can't reach down to here, which is where we're going to go next, just to do some more stretching back here, you can always take the towel round the backs of the feet, just kind of pull back on that, just to ease yourself down into the pose. Really extending the stretch, allowing the head to be heavy, bringing the chin down to the shins if you can. Just get as far as you can. Anything that you're doing will be, wonderful, great improvement on what you were doing before. So just take it as far as you can, respect your limits and respect your body. Just going to take one leg now, just tuck it underneath like this. So the foot's flattened off and the sole is exposed. Just going to take that weight down. Arms either side, palms face down. Flexing the foot back. I've got my forehead on my shin. That's just putting extra stretch on that straight leg. Just bringing that leg back to being straight with its other one and then taking this one away. Taking that stretch down, flexing the foot back. So I think you're doing really well. If you've joined in, I hope that you have. And I think that the next video that I do will focus more on that controlled bounce that we did, and we'll focus on the correct way to do a squat and the importance of your posture and keeping the spine in a neutral position. And then a correct squat is the foundation of so much more stuff. So if you have that nailed down, then it will bring everything else together. So I think that we will focus on that next time. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the seated leg raises, and I will see you in the next video. If you enjoyed it, then please like it down here, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching Core & Co.